Hello. This is a small brief pause that there from me because OBS just said that there was an issue with the encoding for a second, and I don't know why. Alright. Hey, it's working. The chat's showing up on the screen as well. Another episode of Let's All Collectively Torture Agens by making him react to stuff that slowly eats his soul. Don't worry, I still have some control over what gets shown. Alright, I'm joined today. I'm joined in this episode with Dobbs. Dobbs is here. Say hello, Dobbs.
Hello, everyone. This will probably be the only time you see me all week. But I'd like to thank everyone for joining and being here. It means a lot.
Alrighty. So we've got three things, as usual, to react to today, but the second and third items, pretty much on the voting that I had the org do, 4 of them ended up at equal second place, so I got Dobbs to choose the last 2 items. So it'll be interesting, hopefully. I haven't read any of these. Literally, the stuff that we're reacting to today is being chosen purely off the titles by, if I've suggested it, it's purely off the title. Otherwise, whoever suggested some of these may have already read them. So the first thing that we're going to be reacting to today was actually suggested by Dobbs, and it got a lot of votes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, this one was suggested by you, man. Just cracking straight into it. GG. It might help if I actually make sure that I choose the browser source. There we go.
Pro streamers, guys. Pro streamers.
100% pro. Alright. So the first one's a Spectrum post, and as you can see, it was also in the thumbnail, but it's 4 things COG can implement to make piracy a thing and to stop the community from fighting.
Because this guy's a fucking expert.
Post was made by Donati. This is their bloody profile picture, or they haven't refreshed their account yet to fix the displaying of profile pictures on Spectrum. All right.
That's right, Leva.
Have you already read this, Dobbs, or did you just choose it based on the title?
I chose it based on the title. I forgot that I even suggested this, so I guess that'll tell you everything you need to know. So,
all right then. I don't have the plugin for the text-to-speech reader, so I'm just going to read this out. We'll see how we go.
It's so funny, though.
Yeah, I know. It was causing issues with me when I was just trying to use Chrome normally. Like every time I tried clicking on something, it wanted to read it out. Got frustrating after a while. Alright. 4 things COG can implement to make piracy a thing and to stop the community from fighting. This guy is fucking dreaming. Now, this was posted 5 days ago now. They start up with their list.
October 1st. This was 3 days ago. Thereabouts.
Oh, I live in the future. It's a 5th already today.
Whatever.
So yeah. Alright. So they start off with a list. Ships don't explode. Only say 10% of the times for some variation. 2, cargo to persist. 3, the cutting attachment for the multi-tool to cut the doors open. And 4, a trespass state.
What? Okay.
All right. I'm going to read through this first, and then we'll go back through and break this apart. Let's see how we go. Let's see how far we get before I end up in a rant. All right.
I can already feel it.
1A. We need to wait for armor blows my mind. This could be set so that the ship does a shutdown when it's at 5% level or something. This allows for rescue
5%
missions,
level of
etc.
what?
It's, I think 5%, like 5% HP or something like that. This allows for rescue missions, etc. Atmospheric crashes.
The ships explode when they're at 50%. What the fuck you mean 5%, guy? Like, I don't understand. Somebody help me.
I've seen ships go under 50% health, but then it's like, at that point, they're going to explode on any shot. 2A. Some cargo can already persist, but yes, this will be a bigger thing in 3.18. 3A. Why is this not a thing yet? I don't know. 4A. Why this is not in game already? Really don't get it. Oh, okay. So the first 4 things that he states, or that they state, is what they think COG can implement to make piracy a thing, and then the second list is his responses. Okay, I've caught up with their thinking now. This was hard. There is so much gameplay that can come from this. So with 3.18, I think we're almost there. All this fighting between PvP, PvE, and piracy could come to an end. Yeah, sure.
I'm upset. Yeah, I'm upset. I'm upset already. I need to...
let's keep pushing through this. I don't think much. Yeah, it's not that much. I think most of the time, PvE players are pissed when attacked by PvP/piracy players because their ship just explode and don't give them a fighting chance. At least if the ship is still there and the pirate needs to come on board to steal or murder, they can fight back. The exploding ship is just a waste of time and no gameplay. For this to work, we need the first 3. I think we are close to this in 3.18.
Then. Sorry, I felt the need to enunciate.
If someone else... Let me scroll up. Then, if someone is on your ship that is not supposed to be there, they need to become red. We absolutely have to be able to defend what is ours. Ask permission to come on board, easy enough as joining in a group/party. Can't be that difficult. This must be even in armistice zones. Your ship should have its own set of rules. I really hope that they push development for this. I think everybody will benefit more from this gameplay wise. The subject is way too toxic in Discord. Alright. And I think with this in, this will be less of a problem. Edit. Just looking at all the funny/interesting emojis I've got so far, I can't help but wonder you guys know this all planned stuff, right? I'm simply saying, could we get some form of priority in so that the PvP/PvE and whatever can move on, so that everybody feel they have some form of gameplay?
Where the fuck do we start, chat?
Yeah, I was about to say, Dobbs, how does that make you feel? Let's go back to the top.
The thing that I automatically have a problem with is his number 3 point, in that the cutting attachment for multi-tool to cut doors open, as if breaching can't already happen or doesn't already exist. Now I'm going to be the guy that takes my finger and points to our library of videos on our YouTube channel, and I can show you at least 3 dozen of our videos that include breaching doors with literally nothing but ship weapons, FPS weapons, railguns, you name it, and we can get inside without that much difficulty. It doesn't require the cutting attachment for the fucking multi-tool to do that. I mean, if they want to entirely rework the damage system, which I feel like they're going to do, then yes, maybe. But we're speaking completely hypotheticals and fucking theory crafting bullshit. But to say that breaching and boarding can't happen now, again, I hate the fucking argument when people say, like, oh, you can't board ships now. It's like, no, you're lying.
Yeah, I've
It's
always
been happening for
laughed.
fucking years.
I always laughed about that. I'm pretty sure I've said
And
it plenty of
fists,
times
no
on the
less.
channel.
That's right. You can breach doors with your fucking bare hands.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
let that
only a
sink in
new
for a
thing, though.
second.
That's a new
Yeah,
thing.
it is. Within the last couple patches, yeah, but still. With your bare fucking hands. And don't tell me I need a cutting tool to... Alright, I need to relax.
So, yeah, part of the reason why we have the videos on the channel is because people would tell us that you couldn't do this thing, and I'm like, no, we fucking can, and then we'd show it. And it's my most favorite thing now to reply to people on Spectrum. It's like, oh, you can't do that, and then I drop 5 videos of us doing that exact same thing that they said that we couldn't do. It's like, like, unless this is a fucking, figment of bloody all these people's imagination here, like, pretty sure it is possible. But, like, not everybody plays Star Citizen like us. And I say this a lot, but there's more people in this community that are more in love with the idea of Star Citizen than the actual reality of it. And, playing the game. But, yeah. So, let's start. I want to start with the first one. We'll get to 3 eventually. Ships don't explode, only say 10% of the times for some variation. Why? Why does that influence whether or not piracy can be a thing? Like, I don't understand that point at all. Like, they talk about in their response. Go ahead.
I'm still kind of gathering my thoughts on that point, so I'll let you finish.
Yeah, their response here, why we need to wait for armor, blows my mind. This could be set up so that ships does a shutdown when it's at 5% level or something. Like, ships don't explode, only say 10% of the times for some variation. We have distortion damage that can achieve this already. Like, I don't see the need for creating arbitrary values at which a ship would shut down because you've applied a certain amount of damage to it.
Yeah, and these aren't fucking benchmarks. Like, he's using these as benchmarks to say, okay, as like once all of these things that I say that make piracy viable are in, then and only then piracy is a thing in this game, which is already dumb. Because, like you said in the first point, he says this because he thinks that, oh my god, the only thing pirates can do is just pop the ship without a second thought. And while that may be true for most people that just want to go around and just straight up kill people, the act of actually disabling and boarding ships like it's intended, to some degree at least, has been possible for fucking years. Granted, it's not that great right now. It's quite possibly the most difficult it ever has been, Agens. With the exception of maybe very, very early stages of this game where you couldn't even do half the shit that you can do now. But to say that we need all of this for piracy to be viable is quite frankly ridiculous.
Yeah, like, the second point that they make, like, for cargo to persist, pulling off extortion or ransom against other players in game, like, that's taking inspiration from the real life examples that we've got, like, the Somali pirates, where they would board cargo ships, from some, little skiff
Yeah, like
that's got some huge outboard motors on it, pretty much a plank with a huge motor on
and
it.
they'll be a very small group. There'll be maybe 5 to 7 people, if that, and they'll get on the ship, and there's no possible way with the skiff that they have and the size of the ships that they're attacking and the amount of manpower and resources, there's no fucking way they'll be able to move the cargo off that ship, let alone even sail that ship anywhere. So the smartest thing that they have to resort to is extortion. It's like, hey, if you don't give us X amount of money, like just raw cash, then bad things are going to happen. And obviously, that same thing can apply to the game, where all you have to do is threaten somebody, extort them in some way, and then boom, one form of piracy is achieved. It's not the form. Uh, it's not the most flashy or efficient, but it is technically a form of piracy.
It's not the form that everybody expects. Like that's the one thing that you have to kind of concede there. And I definitely concede that point. It's like, yeah, it's not the whole sexy, kicking the bloody ship door in and, fighting to get to the bridge and taking control of the ship and then moving all the cargo off. Although you can technically do that, like ransoming. The difference between extortion and ransom-based piracy is, pretty much your position in relation to the target ship. Extortion-based piracy, you're not on their ship. You're just threatening to destroy them. Ransom-based piracy is you've already taken their ship with all its cargo and precious, booty on it, and you're saying
we talk about
to
this
them,
more in depth on the Mongrel Pirate Academy episode 1. Check it out on our YouTube channel.
yeah, we talk about it there, and the notion that you haven't been able to do piracy, like this is only one aspect of piracy that this person really is talking about, and that's like the concept of piracy gameplay that everybody has in their mind, where you're boarding the ship to take the cargo, you remove the cargo from the target ship.
I also don't understand the argument of, like, the way some people describe pirate or how piracy should work is like, hey, you get on the ship, you hold them at gunpoint in their pilot seat and try to extort them from there. And honestly, in my point of view, once the pirates get on board, all negotiations are over at that point. You're just getting fucking slaughtered along with whoever else you have on board, and then we just take your cargo, and then that's it. Like, that's the way we've done it, Agens, for years now at this point. It's like, once we decide to board, there's no talking after that. Only until we actually take control of the ship and we go for ransom. Because, back then, and still in some cases now, that is the only way you can churn out a profit from piracy gameplay is through extortion and ransom. Now, that's just speaking specifically to cargo haulers. That's not to say anything about, Quantanium miners or rock miners or fucking bunker goblins and cave goblins that just go in there and fucking loot anything that they see. You can honestly just turn out a profit by just going in there and fucking killing them and scooping up what they're trying to take. But yeah, the notion that we have to, like, always give the player a chance is stupid, and no one should expect us to do that when we can, especially like post 318 with cargo refactor and everything, and we can actually sell what we take. Nobody should be expecting a goddamn word out of anyone that chooses to play as a pirate. At least not for like the first several months after the fact.
I think we'll still see other pirate groups attempting extortion just to see if they can get the easy credits first.
Cowards.
Like, for us, it's like the credits never really matter that much to us, because they're just part of the process at the moment. Like, we're focused more on the experience. But when it comes to, like what this person's talking about, they're very narrow-minded in, what they think piracy is going to be. And cargo to persist, like that kind of goes hand in hand with the expectation of what people expect piracy to be. And the thing about this is that cargo isn't really, cargo isn't the, important thing about this. It's that whatever you're trying to steal from someone else by force, that is able to persist long enough that you can collect it. Like smashing loot goblins, for example. Most of the time, the best option is just to cap the guy and destroy their ship. The box, box pops out. It's got all the stuff on it. Pick the box up and go. With persistent enemy entity streaming coming, that stuff that shows up will last a lot longer. But really, like in the case of us doing piracy, you're right there, so you just grab it anyway. It doesn't need to persist for that long. Cargo persisting isn't that important to piracy in the sense that we need it to make piracy a thing. It's important so that it lasts long enough that we can collect it. It's the only problem that we've ever had.
The actual gameplay is far more important than the credits. Because, for anyone that's played Star Citizen for a substantial amount of time, earning credits is not that fucking hard. It's just not. You can get it through the simplest means or the most convoluted of ways. You can end up being a millionaire in a matter of days. And like once you have that, you can basically just coast on along until it gets wiped again, when you can just do it all over again. So it's really like the credits, like when it comes to credits and cargo, especially with like cargo persisting, it's not so much about the actual money value that comes out of the cargo. We consider it more of a completion of a gameplay loop, where it's like, okay, we find a ship, we stop the ship, we get on board, we kill all the crew, and then we could take the cargo and go and sell it before moving on to the next target. That right there is a complete loop, like basically tier 0 of piracy gameplay. Because all the way up until this point, we have been able to find ships, stop them, board them, capture them, but we haven't been able to do that last part until now, 318. Hopefully, Copium in the chat. But yeah, it's all about gameplay. It really is. The value for me is just fulfilling gameplay, which is why the act of boarding a ship and having those fights on a ship, and going through the whole process of just like, if you're going after a fucking behemoth of a ship, right? Let's say like Hull D, for example. The act of capturing that ship is much more fun and fulfilling than just threatening to blow it up with torpedoes if they don't give you 500k. Like, it's just don't want it. Not really fun for me. Viable, but it doesn't mean it's like the most entertaining way to do it.
See, I'm not worried about profit now, because it's out.
We will worry about profit in the future.
Get wiped.
Yeah,
like it's literally just part of the process at the moment. How much can we make off this? In the future, when it's more important, then it's like, yeah, we need to make sure that we make enough. But honestly, when it comes to what we do in a video game, it's like whatever we make. And I always laugh when I see other people talking about, like there's no meaning in the game and, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, it's a fucking video game. The meaning is entertainment. If you're not being entertained in the game, then, there's clearly something wrong. But if the game's complete and you're still not being entertained, then it may not be the game. It may be your expectations. Like, to me, the credits are a means to an end. The more credits that we can get, that's great, but like, we only can enjoy it in game. It's not like it doesn't translate to something that, gives us something tangible in real life. So when I pursue credits in game, it's, there's more a practical reason for it. Like moving on with this guy's, the third point, the cutting attachment for the multi-tool to cut the doors open. So they're obviously talking about breaching mechanics. Like they want breaching, and the cutting attachment for the multi-tool. Like technically you could use it to breach doors. I don't know if you can still do it. I don't think
it's such an old-fashioned way of thinking about boarding because, what was it? Fucking, remember Morphologist made a fucking video. Remember when Morphologist made a video like somewhat talking about Piracy gameplay like a couple of years ago, and there was a caterpillar that was flying through the asteroid field of Yella, and he was being chased by a fucking Gladius and a Cutlass Black, I think. At which point we all died laughing, and then I think he showed two pirates, quote unquote, out an EVA with a cutting tool, just fucking hacking away at the door of the caterpillar. So I'm pretty sure that's probably where he got the idea from, but that's not how it actually goes. Because why the fuck would you do that when you could just pop it open with your ship?
Well, it's more a knowledge-based thing. Not many people know that you can damage a door open with ship weapons. Like, some people are like, oh yeah, you can use a railgun to do it. It's like,
but it's such a simple line of thought, though. It's such a simple line of thought. Like, you have a ship, you have the door, you have your own guns on your ship. Why the fuck not? They're much more powerful than your cutting tool. Like people that don't make that, I don't understand.
It's because a lot of people end up with this preconceived idea of what they expect piracy to be.
Disney piracy.
Well, actually, it would be considered Disney piracy because a lot of people who think about shipboarding actions, which really is what this person is alluding to. This is more about shipboarding at this point.
Yeah, this is really it.
The example that CIG gave was they were talking about the tense moments from Star Wars: A New Hope. The opening scenes where, was it a Tantive 4? I think it was. Getting boarded by that Star Destroyer. That whole sequence where the rebels are lining the hallways and they're waiting for the door to get breached, and the door gets blown off and the stormtroopers come in through the smoke, and then it's this big battle in a tiny ass little hallway.
He just instantly slaughtered everyone. Not funny.
Yeah, and I just see this person not seeing that the game's fulfilling what they think it should be, and not understanding yet that this is technically something that you can already do. But even then, like, this isn't really... Like, if doors can be locked, yes, we do need a way to get through them. So ship doors can be locked, therefore, if we want to be able to pirate them and board them, then yeah, we need a way to get through them, but we have that already.
Now, hang on, Agens. Tater in chat says, bro, I love y'all's content. It's so much fun watching you guys keep up the great content. What do you think about that?
There's lots of people who like our content. We like it too. That's why we make it. And that's why we play and do piracy. We thoroughly enjoy it too. But we're glad you're enjoying it too, mate. We, surprisingly, we get a lot more love for our content than hate. Especially recently. It's good.
No, that's impossible, Agents. We're the fucking bad guys, remember?
Yeah.
we're always going to be the bad guys.
Point number 4, the trespass state. Honestly,
Castle Doctrine, welcome to America.
I think the entire post is this person really wanting to get to this point here. I think they wanted this to be more of a thing, even though they didn't talk about it much. So the trespass state. Why is this not in game already? Really don't get it. CIG doesn't think it's important enough yet? Like, I thought about doing this for the door, like where we break down why, the breaching a door isn't as comprehensive right now as it will be later in the future, but the trespass state is something that could be easily abused. easily. And the problem is that
I already know what you're going to say.
if CIG does implement the trespassing state on somebody's ship, which to a certain degree I think they should, you could just trick new players to come onto your ship. Yeah, they could be a member of your party. You boot them from the party, and then you go, all right, you're now trespassing on my ship, and I have the right to kill you. And then you just kill them. Then what?
It's so many, like, what's funny about it is that the ideas that some of these people propose, they have no idea how easily it can be exploited to their detriment. Chief among them is PvE servers or private servers. Because, like, apparently, for some reason, this fucking topic of discussion never goes away. But do you realize if everyone is in a fucking no PvP server, is getting along great, not a single shot can be fired, do you realize how much shit people can stir up still, even when nothing is able, like, either when no actual physical action can be done? Like, prime example of this, if you're fucking mining, all you gotta do is fly in front of your mining laser, and then boom, you can get killed by security, and then we all just sit there laughing at you. Kind of funny, right? And that's just one example of the shit that people can do. Just because we can't fucking shoot at you or fucking lock missiles at you doesn't mean we can't fucking like take advantage of it in some other way. So it's just like the kind of shit people propose. It's still fucking unavoidable. In fact, it may even be worse because there's nothing you can do in that scenario. But I'm kind of going off of it.
Well, that's the thing about this is that
but you get what it means.
the problem, like the real problem here is players don't feel empowered enough when they're on their own ships. Like that's the actual problem. Like somebody comes onto their ship, they want to remove them, they can't do it because they'll end up with a crime stat and they're in the wrong. That's an understandable, conundrum to be wanting to deal with and have CIG address. The thing is that you don't want CIG half-assing this, really. Like, you don't want CIG half-assing this and making it so that certain conditions can be set up so that players get trapped and get misled into situations where they can't get out and they end up with a crime stat. The thing is that a lot of people who, experience this issue with this, like trespassers on their ship, a lot of the time people are just, like not cognizant of what's going on around them. Like if somebody is trying to get onto your ship, if you're in an armistice zone, it's not hard to avoid that. Just look around you. Maintain some situational awareness. Because that's really what's been exploited there. And I know a lot of players in this community don't want to have to do that. They sit there and they go, I just want to relax. I've been at work for the last bazillion hours and I just got home and I just want to chill out and I want to move boxes from one place to another and I just want to draw on my keyboard and not have to think about what I'm doing. Well, you backed the wrong fucking game.
Yeah,
like that's not Star Citizen. Like, you backed the wrong fucking game. Too bad.
Yes.
You can sit there and complain about it all you want. Eventually there'll be a system where the chances of having somebody sneak onto your ship are a lot less. But that's not now. And there's still a chance that, that's still something that won't be possible in the future either because, right now it's just players doing it. Wait until NPCs start doing it. What are you going to do then? You can't complain about fucking players griefing you. Players weren't even involved. It was an NPC that did it. You complain about CIG programming AI to do that sort of thing? But
I'm just for the record, I'm pro the whole, I'm pro the law system being more robust and that, players do have a right to defend themselves on their own ship, but it needs to be done in a way where it's not like, I'm not going to say that something can be so robust that it's not exploitable, but it's certainly better than what's been suggested. So, or something can be done that's better than what's been suggested so far.
Yeah, like if you're in an armistice zone and somebody gets on your ship and you see them you should
Didn't
be
you
able to
suggest at
run
one
up to
point,
them.
Agens?
Yeah, like this.
Didn't you,
This is something.
remember you suggested at some. Yeah, sorry.
This idea that I'm about to throw out there, and I've said it before. Some of you have already heard this.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much, if you're in an armistice zone, which this really is the only place where you should be doing this. If you're in an armistice zone and you find a player that's on your ship that shouldn't be there, you should be able to get them removed. Now, my original suggestion for this was that you could go into the comms channel for the ship, check whose names are there, and if you see somebody that's on the ship list that's not supposed to be there, just right click on their name and select remove from ship. And for now, we just have CIG teleport that person out of the ship. You know, if they're at a major port or whatever, they get teleported out of the ship into back where the ASOP terminals are. And the scenario is that you call security, because that's what you would fucking do. If you're in an area that has security, you'd call them up and go, hey, I got somebody on my ship that I don't want here. Can you remove them? And it can just be instantaneous for now. Right, let's not worry about trying to make it fucking, bloody immersive and, bloody maintain fidelity or whatever, because bloody we got fucking Wonkavaders taking us to bloody the hangar in the first place. So don't sit there and talk about fidelity when you got a Wonkavader, when you just literally took a Wonkavader to get to your fucking ship. Just right click on their name, select remove from ship. That's it. Now, if you wanted to be able to maintain the whole idea of sneaking onto people's ships and all that sort of stuff, all right, you make it an option that if the person isn't in your party and they're on your ship and you're within an armistice zone, when you run up to the player, you can select an option to remove from ship and you boot them off. So if somebody does stow away on your ship, you can run up to them, or if you find them, you can run up to them, go, all right, I want to remove you from the ship, go. And then it ends up being a little bit of a cat and mouse chase. It might be a bit of an inconvenience, but it doesn't lend itself for being easily exploited, where somebody can just invite a bunch of new players onto their ship, kick them from the party so that they can't leave, and then go, you're trespassing on my ship now. I'm going to fucking hunt yous down and kill yous because, buddy, this CIG decided to implement castle laws for ships. See, I'm seeing people throw out the suggestions on different things that they could add to this, and it's like, this literally could be a solution that could be added within, like I'd say, and this is out of complete ignorance to the development process for, Star Citizen, a couple of weeks. If that. Like, I reckon it could be done in less time than that, but quicker solution to remove a trespasser on your ship when you're in an armistice zone. Just right click on their name, kick them out of the ship channel. Don't worry about timers or any fancy shit like that. Just create this solution so that players feel empowered on their own ships and they can deal with a problem if they're paying attention. Now, if they leave the armistice zone, well, then that's when they've got to, do the whole going through the process of, all right, there's a stowaway on the ship. How am I going to get them off? Just jump out into dead space and cap him. But yeah, this is just one of those situations where it's like, that's why they haven't got a trespass state, because there's stuff that you can do inside the armistice zone, but then when you leave and you're inside comm array range but not in armistice, what do you do? How do you deal with a stowaway then? Some people are just going to be like, well, I just want to be able to cap them. And it's like, well, you're not, just like real life, you're not a law unto yourself. You got to justify that the reason why you're killing that person, is that you're under threat. Not every country has castle laws. Doesn't work like that.
And there's no way for a fucking game to have that much nuance to determine whether or not fucking player death on someone's ship inside comm array range was like, even inside comm array range is like somehow justified for one side or the other, unless you have some kind of fucking player installed jury that you have to go to on a Tuesday somewhere, and they'll fucking render judgment. No, that's never gonna fucking happen. So it's like,
Yeah, like COG needs to create the conditions to combat any sort of griefing caused by baiting players to join a party, to go onto a ship, then get booted from the party so that they end up in some sort of fucking like Running Man game where they gotta bloody escape the ship, which I reckon would be fucking fun. You know, bring a bunch of players, new players onto a fucking 890 and boot them from the party. It's like, you know, you guys have got to escape the ship. There's only one bloody, you know, ship outside. I'm going to be hunting you all down with like, you know, guns and shit like that, and you got to run. But yeah, like once again, it's going to require COG a lot more time and energy from CIG to address the problem. So trespass state, yeah, there's an easy solution for armistice zones. Outside of armistice zones, it's like it's going to take more work. And to start off with, I don't think CIG really needs to focus that much on that sort of part. Because by that stage, if somebody managed to sneak onto your ship and then you didn't check, and you didn't do your due diligence, then chances are if they're there on your ship already, they're there to do something bad.
Yeah, the responsibility is on you, not the game. Like the ratio between what the game is supposed to do for you and what you're supposed to do for yourself is heavily in favor of the latter. Because like you can't expect CIG to create game systems that'll protect you at all costs, and you'll just be able to boot any player off of your ship at any point when you don't feel like it or feel threatened. There is some agency over your gameplay that you have to take responsibility for. Even if it's exploitable, like there are measures that you can take to prevent that kind of thing from happening to you. I see so many times, and I've said this before, like I hate the argument where people say that they're defenseless in situations like this. No, you're not. You're really not. You just have to have the wherewithal and consciousness to, be more responsible and take care of yourself in situations like that.
Yeah. Like, I also wonder how many people actually have others sneak onto their ships. Because if you've read Spectrum and you based it on that, it'd be like every other day somebody, people are getting stowaways on their ships, and it may be that. But I highly doubt it. Not with the amount of concurrent players that we have. But this was all in an attempt to get the community to stop fighting. And they never mention it in the title, but they talk about PvE and PvP and piracy. PvE players are pissed when attacked by PvP/piracy players because their ship just explodes and don't give them a fighting chance.
We're not obligated to give you a fighting chance, okay? So stop asking for it. Fucking hell, man. It's so annoying.
At least if the ship is still there and the pirate needs to come on board to steal or murder, they can fight back. You can fight back the entire time. Prior preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. And it's industrial ships are not designed to fight. This is something that still blows my mind. Like, people complain about, like my prospector can't fight back. The guns on it are useless. Yeah, no shit. You're in a mining ship. It's not supposed to fight. You're supposed to hire somebody to watch your back. Somebody that is in a combat ship, that is designed to fight other ships.
But Agens, if I'm playing security for a miner on Lyria, I'm going to be bored staring at him for 2 hours.
Too bad. Eat a bag of dicks. That's what you want to do. It's what you're getting paid to do. It's literally that. You're getting paid to do it. There's other things that you can be doing at that same time as well. Like, miners can group up and hire, pool their money together and just hire a couple of security guys. And the security guys just patrol around, fly around.
or just mine in like large herds. Think of like, elk or caribou. They're all hanging around together. And you know what we'll do if you're in a group, there it increases your survivability, and we'll just go after the slow and the old and sick.
Yep. We'll look for the weakness and we'll exploit that. Like
But my
convoys.
resources, Agens.
Too bad. Too bad. Like, that mentality is coming from a solo player. Like, I can't, defend myself. It's like, yes, you're not supposed to be able to. You're supposed to hire other players. It is planned that you will do that. It is planned that you'll be able to hire NPCs. So guess what you end up doing? You end up hiring NPC security. If you don't want to hire players, you'll hire the NPCs. Planned for, not implemented.
But the
You're gonna have to wait.
NPCs are fucking awful. Players can just obliterate NPCs without a second thought.
No. Hire
like
really
playing
good
devil's
NPCs.
advocate, can't you tell?
Hire good NPCs, hire players. Like, there's solutions to these problems, and people just aren't willing to, do anything about it. And that's at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to when COG, finally starts pushing this back onto players. It's like, we've given you the tools, you have to use them now. We can't keep holding your hands. Like, form groups, buddy. Hire the NPCs, put blades on your ships, whatever. You've got the tools to defend yourself. Like, planned for, but not implemented. It's going to happen eventually. But, like, PvE players being attacked, players just get getting pissed when they're attacked. It doesn't matter if it's by PvP or piracy players. It could be by the AI as well. Who was it? Virgil on the Star Citizen PvP Reddit shared a clip from another Reddit post where somebody was talking about how their ship got attacked while they were doing some cave mining. Came out and they were getting attacked by an Avenger and it was shooting at their ship every now and again. And then the same thing happened to them when they went back to the same place, and it was a hurricane and a Vanguard.
Yeah.
And if you've been playing Star Citizen for longer than 5 minutes and you've done bounty missions, you would know that those are the most likely ships to show up. If a player's going to show up and blow up your ship, they're not going to just pop a few shots off, stare at your ship for 5 minutes, and then pop another couple of shots off. They're just going to keep fucking laying into it until it's gone. So clearly, it was a fucking AI. This player didn't recognize that. Now, they may not have been playing that long, but the thing about that is like, they were just getting pissed off that they were getting attacked. They don't want to get attacked. It's like, that's part of the risk that you took. Guess what? The gameplay environment is not a bloody safe one. It's not secure. You don't get to run around and treat it like a fucking tourist bloody, amusement park. It's not a tourist amusement park. There's threats. There's risk. You gotta learn to deal with that.
Nah, we're just gonna shove them all in Orison and tell them to stay there. They'll be happier down there, probably.
I've seen players threatening to report AI, calling them out in chat in global, calling them out in chat, saying, I'm going to report you for bloody griefing me. And then we're like, somebody will ask, what's their name so that we can help too. And then they'll spit out a bloody NPC name and they'll go, that's an AI. It's like, what are you going to do then?
You hear that, chat?
What are you going to do then?
Ugh, it's unbelievable.
Like,
oh man, I'm getting griefed by this Spectrum post.
the thing is, and let's finish on this point. Their goal, saying that if COG implements these 4 things, piracy becomes a thing and we stop the community from fighting. Is it not going to happen?
Like, it's not going to stop the community from fighting. Like, no one is ever going. Like, people, as long as there's space dads in this game, there's always going to be contention between the two parties because no one likes getting shot at. No one likes getting their fucking shit stolen from them. At least none of those kind of people.
Dobbs,
So,
you remember some of the people that were pirated that thanked us, right? You remember that?
Yeah. Thank you for robbing me. Thank you for completely just bullying me into oblivion and shooting me in the mouth. Yeah, that was great. Fucking weirdos. Thank you for the support, though. Thank you for supporting our channel and piracy endeavors. But
like, the thing is that there's always going to be the extremes, and that's the thing. Is like what you see on Spectrum is the 2 extremes. You got your bloody, full-on hardcore PvPers, and you got your full-on hardcore PvEers. And all they want the PvE server. They wanted the PvP slider so they could just set it to 0 PvP and just be able to fly through the verse and do whatever the fuck they wanted, not have to suffer any consequences. Because
Squadron 42,
Dobbs,
go over there if you want that shit.
No, they don't. Like, they don't even want combat. That's the thing. They don't want combat either. Like,
Fine, then they could just fucking sit in the main menu. How's that sound? They could just stare at the pretty looped background graphic. That sounds like a great time.
And
Orson looks great this time of year.
The thing though is like there's nothing wrong with wanting to play Star Citizen without engaging in combat. The issue that I have, and this is why you end up with these extremes, is that those PvE players that only want PvE and don't want to have to interact with other players are attacking, huge planned parts of the game and trying to get rid of that and trying to push an agenda to try and push that away, to get rid of it. It's like, look, CIG's planned this from the start. There's going to be PvP in the game. They're going to design it in a way so that the chances of it happening to you is a lot less if you stick to certain areas through the design of the game itself. Will you get attacked by someone? Possibly. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an AI. But there's also that one little chance that it could be a player. You're just going to have to deal with it. There's going to be risk in the game. They don't want it to be, bloody kumbaya, everybody gets along, everybody, being happy with each other and, being cool with each other and all that sort of stuff. They want tension and rivalry to happen in the game to, spice things up a bit. You may not want that. Too fucking bad. Like, they're designing it into the game. You can find areas where you get less of it.
Oh my god, Agens. Look, the chat is based today. Give yourself a pat on the back, guys.
Like, Elite Dangerous already is the space truck simulator. All they need to do really is just give players the... Well, no, you can walk around on the stations in Elite Dangerous now. I think just walking around their ship so that they can go look at the cargo.
Oh, goodness gracious. And to think we have 4 more to go.
4? What are you on about?
3?
2. We're only reacting to
shit.
3 things.
Okay.
We're already an hour in. Yeah,
really been that long? Jesus Christ, chat, you're distracting me.
4 things that CIG can implement to make piracy a thing. Like, piracy is already a thing. People can keep trying to say that it's not. It is, and the next patch that comes where we've got cargo refactor and it works the way that we want, and we can remove the cargo from people's ships, fucking, they're gonna find out real quick that piracy is, you know, an even bigger thing, and there's gonna be a lot more crying, a lot more tears. Yeah, let's move on from this because this doesn't really have much substance. I'm not even gonna bother going through the replies. Let's see the point.
And thank you, Dobbs, for that suggestion or that submission for the React series. Very, very cool.
Pat yourself on the back there, Dobbs.
And you know what? I've had a hell of a week so far. I need it.
All right, so the next one. We're gonna move on to the next one. This one's gonna be interesting. It's a little bit older. When I say a little bit older, it's like close to a week old now. Hopefully you guys like
internet time. That's ancient.
Griefing swings both ways. If you are, please stop accusing pirates being the only ones playing with griefer fire.
Griefer fire. Do you hear that?
Griefer fire.
It's a fucking fire. We're firebenders over here.
We're just catching up with the chat right now. We're definitely going to be doing whole stripping for sure. Although we're not going to bother extorting people. I'm just going to take their shit.
Yeah.
Tension for the video. We may try to just start salvaging the ship whilst we're trying to disable them. Just start tearing the ship apart around them.
No, we're not doing that.
Be hilarious.
No, we're not. No.
Watching their face as their ship.
No, Agents, you're just asking for more collisions. You're just clogging the airspace.
It'll work.
What happened to fucking decreasing our footprint during a hit?
Yeah, well, COG's got other plans.
Oh, fuck that, man. Whatever, dude.
Alright, griefing swings both ways. If you are, please stop accusing pirates of being the only ones playing with griefer fire. First off, I enjoy... You spelled enjoy wrong. I enjoy playing as a lawful freelancer doing whatever to make some moolah. I occasionally cross the legal line, but not very often. So please understand, I'm not some pirate player just throwing my hands up and screaming.
Yeah, we're doing that. We're the ones doing that.
Like, it's alright. Because this person has said this to start off with, we have to take what they say seriously. Because if it was a pirate player, you just ignore. That's how Spectrum works. It's the unwritten rules. Albeit, I understand why many do. In fact, I was griefed, or more accurately, I engaged in a really crazy and slightly unpleasant dynamic game event when a player named Nope blew me up just the other day. I wonder if you made a video of that.
Shout out to Nope.
I wonder if you made a video of that. What's this guy's name? Green Taco. We'll have to check his channel later. Did I get angry? Was I mad because literally everything I have in game was loaded onto that freelancer max?
Stop. Why? Why do you do that? I get so angry at people that fucking tell me when I'm trying to extort them, oh my god, I don't have any money. I dumped my entire wallet into my cargo hold. Are you seriously that fucking dense? How can you possibly have... Oh my god. Chat, finish my sentence. I can't, my brain can't compute today. I'm sorry. This is just too much for me to register. Oh my god. Oh. Ow.
I just laugh now. If a player says, oh yeah, I spent all my credits on the cargo, it's like, Start asking in chat, man, because you're about to lose all your shit. You're about to get the in-game reset.
Hey, maybe, you know what, Ages? Maybe it was moving day. Maybe they were just throwing all their gear in the ship and bringing it over to their favored port of call.
You know what happened to me on the first day of the most recent patch? I loaded up my MSR, started off at Orison, loaded up my MSR with most of the kit that I needed, all FPS stuff, and I was going to go to Grimhex. Fucking left Orison, started flying, game hard crashes. I come back in, lost my ship, lost all the gear that was on that ship, and I hadn't even been playing that patch for more than 5 minutes. I just fucking started laughing. Like, shit happens. It's just gear. Like, it doesn't matter. You'll get more. You'll be able to get more. Like, progression in this game is just not a thing yet. And even then, progression through gear is just not really going to be the focus. Like, if you have something that's rare, then maybe you'd be upset about that, but more that it's rare and hard to get, as opposed to, you know, like somebody going, oh, I've got all this stuff that I just collected, and, you know, it's like, well, you're just going to have to go back around and collect it again, aren't you? You're losing a bit of time. And I guarantee that there are plenty of players out there that'll sit there and go, you know, it's only time, I don't care, I'll bloody self-destruct my ship and, you know, just cut off my nose to spite my face just so that the pirates don't get anything, and in the next breath complain that they just lost all their shit and now they got to spend all the time getting it back.
No fucking skin off my back, man. You do you.
The MSR is not a Care Bear ship. MSR is a future pirate ship when data piracy becomes a thing. Yeah, it's like people need to stop putting so much importance on kit. Alright, let's continue. So was I mad that because literally everything I have in game was loaded onto that Freelancer Max? No. I was upset slightly with anxiety, but it was thrilling to see if I could recover my stuff. It was within the armistice zone or port of Port Olisar, so I liked my chances. I claimed my ship and flew back out there, and I went into chat and offered an additional 500k for anyone who could kill Nope for me. When I arrived there, there was like 20 ships there. It was awesome, and I was ready to pay. Chat was alive, and even Nope hopped in to the conversation and offered an additional 500k for whoever killed them. We didn't go at each other. I saw his need and saw my own, and made it work, all without CIG having to lift a finger. I already had the tools I needed in this epic sandbox, the community. I got everything back, no sweat. My fellow citizens. Rage quitting and bed logging and all the other I don't like this, I'm going to just ruin this person's day are also forms of griefing. Let's play nicely. Doesn't mean lawfully, but get a grip, people, on both sides of the equation. What was that, Dobbs?
Sorry. When he said my fellow citizens, I immediately thought of Barack Obama. It's like, my fellow citizens, let's play nicely. You know, don't mean lawfully. You know, get a grip, people. On both sides of the equation.
So next time someone jumps you, be a good sport and put up a fight, maybe, or try to run if you can. Then when you explode, you can claim assault, and maybe even offer a bonus in global chat for whomever downs the guy like I did. And when you're pissed off because you just invested hours of your day preparing for a blank, and it was all dashed to pieces in less than a minute, remember, it's a game. And an amazing, immersive game with survival mechanics and tedious baked in. So just enjoy it, and instead of raging, use up some of what you've saved to create a cool experience for all. I bet Nope felt really cool having a 500k bounty on them, and I felt safe, and it was no problem to get my stuff back with like 20 people acting as security.
You know what, Agens? I know where this is going, and I'm going to find something really quick. Carry on, though.
Well, this is just a story by somebody going, yeah, I got attacked by somebody and then I didn't fucking have this chucker bloody wobbly and decided to play the game and see what else I could do. But I don't know how many players would just have an extra 500k just to throw about to go, hey, you know, like this guy, I'm throwing a bounty on their head now because they attacked me. It's funny because we've had players do this before and nobody's come anywhere near us. Or we've had somebody show up and they're in like a PvE ship that you would use for bounty hunting. And there's like 7 of us there. We just fucking whale them. Like, this is one of those situations, like, I see this, I'm glad this person had a positive experience, but I see this, like, this is the exception as opposed to the rule. This person's got a better mentality on handling these sorts of situations, but I question how many times, Green Taco, could you encounter this particular thing? Maybe you've got a higher threshold for this type of thing than most people. Or more than likely, your threshold is about the same as what everybody else has, and the people who have lower thresholds are the ones that are loudest on the spectrum.
Now, I'm gathering some evidence of a point that I want to make here.
Death Factor, I think, says it the best. I got attacked and acted like an adult and solved my own problems. Like, that is exactly what this post is. It's got a lot more upvotes on it. 30 Picard palms though. 19 people yawning.
Now, Agens, I'm going to post something here in Ordcoms. I'm pretty sure you'll know where this is from when you see it.
I need to bloody do some moderating.
The whole griefing goes both ways thing. I want to extend it towards attitudes, because I want to show you guys an example, if Agens allows, of the type of things some people can say to us when we're attempting to extort and ransom them. And just to be clear, some of the things that, or what you're about to see, is not even the worst kind of things that we've gotten. Also, shout out to Mr. Cobalt Heart, inactive Mongrel way now. We love you. We miss you. Come back soon.
Stream got griefed. All right, it's been handled.
Take a look at this, Agens. You know what video this is from, yeah?
Where'd you link it?
All comes.
Gamer words.
Yes.
Let me see. Let me see if I can open this. All right. What I'm going to do, I need to change some screens. So let's go here while I mess around and get this over here.
It's going to be
Now there is going to be some gamer words here, chat. Just fair warning.
Like, I feel like I've been griefed by global chat sometimes with some of the horrible and hurtful things some of these space dads have said to me. I'm pretty sure most of chat can agree. It's really raunchy sometimes. I feel bullied most of the time, you know? All I'm trying to do is steal your space bucks.
All right. So you may have seen this in most recently the Mongrel Pirate Academy videos. The good old Commando Draco. I don't know how you'd say that name. Maybe it was supposed to be Commando J Draco or something. But good old kobold doing kobold things. So you're not able to pay for your goods. I'll cut a deal 100k and you can have it back since I'm having a great day today. He's having a good day. He's feeling generous. And just the way that this guy is speaking to him, like, how fucking much you worthless human shit.
That's just...
Kobold already told him the 100k, so he just reiterated 100k should be nothing with what you've got on here. How am I fucking going to get that with no money and no ship? Ask someone if you don't have it yourself, perhaps.
Again, this goes back to what I said earlier. Why are people so stupid to dump their entire wallet into their cargo hold? Kind of applies, right?
Yeah.
Right? Prime example, anyone?
You are a fucking piece of trash. And then he goes to global. Like, this is all in private chat. And now he goes to global. I need to borrow 100 to get my ship and cargo back from some gamer word. And then Kobold, I'll give you 10 minutes to get the money. Your ship is still intact.
Look at the other one. This is where it gets good, chat. Cover your eyes, chat.
What is it? I need to borrow. Yeah, we've already said that. I'll give you 10 minutes. Yep. I hope someone kills you in your sleep. Two dukes. I can do it with interest. This is where mongrels are trying to finesse this deal out of this guy. Although we're not getting the credits really, because old mate wouldn't have paid the interest anyway. After, like, I see somebody speaking like that, and this is actually one of those examples where, like, I look at how, you know, these players speak to just us, and it's like, look, we're just engaging in the gameplay. You don't like it, fine. You know, if you look at what Kobold said, he hasn't insulted him once, hasn't sworn at him once. The most that he's done is shot him in the face in game. That's it. Like, I just look at that.
Well,
it's just disappointing.
I just tried to bot this person, Agens, and you want to know what I found?
Nothing. They changed the name. Guarantee they changed the name.
Nope. No players found with that name.
Yeah, of course. We made him famous. Oh, man.
Sag in chat.
All right.
But yes, I guess that is an example of griefing goes both ways. I was verbally griefed. Or
that's not even
digitally griefed.
That's not even griefing. Like, that's just
I felt griefed
out.
by extension. Like, I wasn't even, I don't think I was even there, Agens, but I felt it. I felt the energy. And it, you know, it kind of,
it's not griefing, it's harassment.
Listen, I'm playing devil's advocate again, because that word has been butchered into oblivion, and nobody fucking even knows what that word means anymore, because they're just tossing it around as if it's nothing.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, when it comes to griefing and the definition and all that, I know, actually, Nope, I think, was the one who made the Spectrum post asking for CIG to clarify it. And somebody linked the was it Calling All Devs episode where they're talking about griefing versus piracy, and Jared and Dan Truffin give their own little spin on what they think griefing is, and it's like griefing is whatever CIG wants to define it as. That is literally it. They get to draw the line, and you will never know where it is really. They'll hint at it, but if they feel like you've crossed it, they will tell you. And that's it.
Which is fucking... Oh boy. Gotta love those, right, guys?
What they're doing, though, is
like
they're trusting players that they're going to engage in some sort of, like mature decision making with how they engage other players in the game.
Sure, trust the kindness and reverence of strangers on the fucking internet to uphold your open-ended definitions on what griefing is. That's a great idea.
It's less of the issue isn't as much of like the players engaging in griefing activity. It's the accusations of griefing that's really the issue that CIG is going to have to deal with. And part of the reason why I don't think they're dealing with it, or like giving definite bounds, is that they don't want to deal with players sitting there going, "That's not what I think griefing is," blah 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 blah. And just like a huge portion, well, I wouldn't say huge, but a very vocal portion of the community just going, that doesn't fit our definition of what we think griefing is, and we don't like that.
Well, that's already happening anyways.
Trying to engage. Yeah, but they've got nothing to stand on. Whereas if CIG gives, a definition, like a clear-cut definition that gets put in the terms of service, like they can use that to bloody cause as much problems, bad publicity, whatever, engage in that good old cancer culture that's fucking all the rage at the moment. Engage in that to try and, like sway the development of the game in the direction that they want. By keeping it ambiguous, one, it makes it harder for people to sit there and try and skirt the line of actual engaging in actual griefing, because CIG can literally say, well, we never actually define it. We just say that, like we reserve the right to remove anybody from the game for whatever reason we deem fit. And if we think that you're engaging in griefing behavior, we'll give you a warning, maybe. If you don't listen to the warning, then we'll boot you. But, we could just remove you anyway. Like, that's literally it. See, it doesn't matter if a player thinks that they're being griefed or not. Like if they think they're being griefed, they're told to go and contact customer support about it. Provide all the evidence that they have. Just leave it in their hands. It's as simple as that. Like we experience this on the regular. Fucking, it's nearly a daily occurrence for us where we get players trying to bloody bedlog in Alt F4.
That's griefing. I'm making a call to customer support. I want this issue dealt with immediately.
It's like, if that's how they want to deal with
space dads, guys.
If that's how they want to deal with that, fine. Like it's not going to be there forever. Like they're going to have to face it eventually. And the thing is like all this is doing is, solidifying our resolve that the best course of action for us to take is just to fucking murder everyone. Like, that's it. It's like they're probably going to rage quit. They're probably going to bedlog. They're probably going to try and self-destruct. So better off just getting rid of all of them. Get them out of the way. Remove the other person from the equation. And if we can profit off the ship in, totally without their input, then, why? Why would we not? When they behave like that. No chances, no risks that we are willing to take at that point.
I think I've started a trend in org comms because now other people are posting screenshots of some of the horrible and hateful things some of our targets have said, chief among them being Hazard. This was actually recent, where Hazard was offering 200k ransom for old mate's ship, and they said, quote, "Take my ship and plug in your ass." What do you think of that one, chat? Another thing too about the whole, you know, blowing up the ship and everything. Like, when our gameplay loop was considered complete, and really it's up in the air what is considered that, especially with 318. I mentioned this before, the talking is over, but we're not going to be saying anything. That doesn't mean you can't. If you want to fucking save your hide by reaching out to us instead to try and, make a deal, we'll fucking listen. But to assume that we're obligated to give you a chance, no. We're basically done with that. And now the responsibility is on you to initiate that conversation.
The way I see all of this, like, I'm not concerned about how other players decide to play the game anymore. I'm just at that point now where it's like, we present, options. You have to make a decision. We're attacking you. You got to make a decision. If you want to try and leave the encounter, fine. If you decide to Alt F4 a bedlog, fine. That's your choice. Not going to help you in the future. Like, right now, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's annoying for us to a certain degree, but even then, it doesn't stop us from doing piracy, because you're just one person. A point that's brought up, and I don't think we're actually covering it in this particular episode of Mongrel Squad Reactions, but somebody asked on Reddit, how many people, how many of you have actually been pirated before? And I've always thrown this out there too. It's like, normally the people that we pirate, that's the first and only time that they've ever encountered pirates. They have no fucking idea what's going on until we're contacting them, until we're reaching out to them, and they see the chat and they realize that they're actually dealing with players. Whereas for us, like, you could be the 5th person that we've hit for that day. Like, to us, it's just another Tuesday. To you, it was like there's a fucking life-changing experience in Star Citizen, for better or for worse, whatever you fucking decide it was. But for us, it's just like, it's just another Tuesday. Everybody will log in the next day and do it all over again. Because the encounters are always different. It's fresh to a certain point. We may go through the same motions. The core, macro movements when it comes to performing a piracy hit don't change, but the way that the target behaves does. And there's always the opportunity that the encounter becomes bigger than what it normally is. Again? Did I not ban this person?
J-Dog's mom again.
There we go. Sorted. Time and place, chat. Time and place. So, I think we've spent enough time on this one. I don't really think we need to keep bloody going on about this. Like, this person had a positive experience.
Thanks, Chat69. You just saved my life.
Changed. Wow. Changed his life. Yeah, like, this person had a really good experience. Good for them. Hopefully more players decide to take this route and try and engage in the gameplay. I know, like Salty Mike had that experience. Mike dropped 2.0. It was a bit of a turning point for him for Star Citizen.
You heard him himself. He said he fucking slayed, or whatever it was. He
That was
slayed.
it. Yeah, he did well. He did well, considering the circumstances, and he reinforced the respect that everybody should have for the railgun. All right, so we've got one more.
Greedy when you need to put some respect on the fucking railgun.
Got one more. It's another Spectrum post. Apparently, videos weren't popular this week. Like quite a few got suggested, but when it came to the upvotes, they just weren't really, that popular. Adrian, like I said, I was in that server and the guy wasn't as calm as he's making out not to begin with. Yeah, a lot of people are like that. They go through all those all the roller coaster of emotions. And it's to be expected.
Pain, anger, acceptance.
And then once they go through all that, and they can start actually thinking a bit clearer, they can make better decisions. Now, the next one, and this will be the last one for the night. We may actually hit under 2 hours. I don't think we are.
Cap in chat. Cap.
The next one is active way to combat piracy. The Spectrum post. This is actually a really short one. Surprised this got suggested, but it did.
Because it's short and concise. It's so much simpler than everyone else has been talking about over the past couple of years. Such a simple way to do it.
So from Informatic Raptor. Active way to combat piracy. It hasn't happened as of yet to me because cargo kind of sucks at the moment. But in the future, I look forward to PvP pirating interactions. But what are the tools to fight or prevent piracy as a single player? I know about hire an escort, fly safe routes, keep your signature low. But pirates will probably have better fighting ships, interdictions, etc. The one I know are kind of passive. Something active is planned. Question mark. Maybe a boost to spool time for quantum travel, a flash bomb for ship sensors, etc. That's actually not a bad idea, a flash bomb for ship sensors. Well, technically you had noise, but I've only ever seen it used effectively once. They only got 10 upvotes, but 169 replies. But active ways to combat piracy, like hiring an escort is an active way. Flying safe routes is an active way.
Flying safe routes is also kind of a weird one because it's like it's not just that, because you can do so much other than that in just terms of your travel. Like, as long as you're on a straight line, there's always going to be potential that a pirate's going to catch you. Like, doesn't matter what route you're on. If you don't take the necessary precautions, like fucking I'll say this again. Fucking talking to there's a video out. It's one of our most popular videos on the channel when we went to hit fucking Jack Axton. When I edited it, I severely cut down the footage because it was a 2-hour hunt. We were out there for fucking 2 hours trying to find that motherfucker. And the reason why is because he is insanely good at covering his tracks, and he's one of the slipperiest motherfuckers that I know, and he knows how to escape. He knows how to escape a moon or his bilocation and avoid most of the common trade lanes out of those areas. And it may seem like some sort of big brain, high IQ play that he's doing. He's really not doing that much. He's just taking a few extra steps that enable him to complete his run without any interruption.
Like, the best way to avoid pirates really is just to understand what pirates do. You know, what pirates are looking for, which is something that Jack is, very cognizant of. And people have made bloody videos and stuff about it. It's like, if you want to avoid getting snared, for example, don't travel direct routes. Like, it's as simple as that. Quantum travel, like, choose a different direction that you're going to jump to, then your final destination. Do a short hop, cancel your quantum jump, then realign to where you actually want to go and jump that way. That's the easiest way to avoid a snare. It literally is, and it doesn't take much brain power to think of that.
It's stupidly easy to avoid a snare. Stupidly easy.
Like, for us right now, part of the reason why we're able to be as successful as we are is because a lot of players just don't consider pirates as much of a threat.
Well, they're essentially playing the game in autopilot when they're doing trade runs.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
Because we're so rare. Like, pirates actually trying to pirate people is so rare in this game. And part of the reason for that is that the rewards don't match the effort. Like, you look at PvE bounties, for example, the amount of credits that you can make off that. If credits is your main motivator for playing Star Citizen, then you would go do PvE bounties. Or what is it at the moment? It's combat assist missions. Just pay out a stupid amount of credits. And there's no reason to not do them if your motivation is credits. If you're after the gameplay, though, then that's where things start changing a bit. Like, hiring an escort is an active, way of combating piracy. You had to think ahead of time. Like, what I would consider a passive way of combating piracy is, flying as fast as you can in a straight line. That's a pretty passive way of doing it. Flying safe routes, like, every route technically is safe if you do the right thing.
Especially if you're in ships like a Carrack or an MSR.
Yeah. Just use a Carrack. Use a Carrack or an MSR. Keep your signature low. That won't matter. You're going to a known point. If you're cargo hauling, you're going to a known point. We'll find you regardless.
Yeah, that last one is just irrelevant because you're going to points of interest to pick up your goods. It's not like you're going out in the middle of nowhere and just, finding cargo out there and picking up and going to sell it. That's not something that happens dynamically in the game. Fucking so it's like, as long as pirates visit those, if you're mining, yes, but I'm talking more specifically about cargo hauling. As long as pirates frequent those points of interest, you're going to get found regardless of what kind of ship you're in or how low your signature is or the components that you're using. especially now since stealth is essentially null and void. Doesn't it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, no lag. Just go sell at Orison. No, yeah, pirates won't bother with that. Fuck that. Like, there's other ways of being able to combat pirates during an attack as well. There's been, players that are quite clever. They're very far and few between when it's come to
There's one
them
example I can think
countering
of
us.
too. Most of the time, I've seen, especially with people in Hercules ships, because we all know how ridiculously agile the Hercules is in atmosphere, and more often than not, if we're hitting a target, if we're hitting a C2 on a moon that has really dense atmosphere, our QED ships, the Cutlass Blue and the Mantis, if they're deep in the atmosphere, if they're close to the ground at a low altitude, it's going to be significantly harder for those kind of ships to escape atmosphere than it is for the um,
On the hook.
C2, except for perhaps maybe the uh, Mantis. But what people do, or what targets do, is that they will essentially they'll shoot up into high atmosphere, and they'll be somewhat in space before they stop, turn around, dip back into the atmosphere, baiting the QED to a lower altitude before they point back up and burn out of the atmosphere. And they'll be going significantly faster than the QED ship, and they'll be able to jump out before the QED can catch back up. Because most of the time the QED isn't thinking, and they'll go way too low and they'll overshoot. They'll either hit the green zone and the QED will get disabled, or they get too low in the atmosphere and they can't climb back out of it in time. I've seen that happen dozens and dozens of times. Dozens of times.
The MSR's agility is lacking, but it is not sluggish. That thing, I've watched plenty of times when I've moved in on it with a Mantis just literally out accelerate me. And that's all it needs to be able to do. It can just punch out in a straight line. The only ship in our configuration that can actually keep up with it are the Warlocks. And that's just barely. And the thing about the MSR versus the Warlocks is that the MSR also has a higher thrust ratio than what the Warlocks do. So in the thicker atmospheres, it can punch harder through the atmosphere than what the Warlocks can. So even then, like, the MSR may not be able to maneuver as well. It doesn't need to. It's fast enough in a straight line with enough acceleration that it'll reach max speed before the Warlocks do, and be able to hit the quantum travel ceiling before the Warlocks do, and get out of dodge before the Warlocks do. Like, acceleration is a huge factor when it comes to being able to take a target down. So if you've got a ship that's got really good acceleration, it doesn't matter if it doesn't have a higher max speed. If you play your cards right and you use the acceleration correctly, you can outmaneuver the fighters and escape the scenario. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of players just get destroyed straight out, because the heavier ships that are full of cargo are able to outmaneuver and, essentially out accelerate the smaller ships that don't have the cargo or the weight.
The same thing too, like it's not even about the ship that you're flying. Like there's also stuff like, let's say, like if a group of pirates stop your ship either in atmosphere on the ground or out in dead space, and they get on your ship, it's still not over for you at that point. Especially if you're on a C2. There's only 2 entry points to the bridge on the C2, and they're some of the worst choke points that I can think of out of any other ship in the game. It's a very tiny, slim elevator and an even narrower fucking ladder. And if you have the right self-awareness and the right equipment, You can basically just sit there covering those 2 entry points, and there's no fucking shot any pirate is getting through that threshold. No shot.
Yeah, I've always been curious as to whether or not COG actually considered piracy as a thing on the Hercules series of ships. Because it's that situation where it's like they've created, you know, a choke point that is so good for that works so much in favor of the defender that the best chance that you actually have of pushing through to take that Herc is almost makes it not worth even bothering to try and pirate the ship unless they've got a really valuable cargo. Like, we may end up getting FPS tools that, you know, like riot shields, for example, may become a thing. But even then, like, you know, if grenade launchers stay the way that they are, but you just need to make sure that if you're on the defending side, just have a couple of grenade launchers and just fucking pummel the elevator.
The weird thing is, whenever we get on board a C2, they're always just sitting in the fucking pilot seat doing nothing.
Well, actually, yeah, Hannah's right. Like, you can't even use the elevator at the moment. The elevator's not accessible.
Yeah, it's because the elevator is technically an exterior entrance, and if the ship is locked, you can't even access it from the inside. So your only way up is the ladder.
And there's no other way of getting into that top section unless COG makes it possible to breach through the bloody glass, which would still be difficult because it's not that wide.
Yes, please. I would like that. Just be able to fucking remove the glass elements, please.
Thing is that, like, people keep talking about ships not exploding. And it's this situation where it's like, you can't really force people to engage in a boarding action if there's no value to them to engage in it in the first place. Making ships harder to destroy won't encourage you to engage in a boarding action. All it'll do is make you choose weapons that are able to destroy the ship faster. So you'd switch to torpedoes instead of using laser weapons. You want to force ship boardings, and what you need to do is make destroying the ship less profitable than it is to board and take the stuff on board, which COG is already pushing for. The main reason why you see players destroying ships, like the Rock for example, because gems don't stack anymore, and you have to move them one by one, it's just better to destroy the Rock and pick up the box that spawns afterwards that's got all the gems in it, and then put it on your own ship and sell it that way. With cargo refactor coming, we don't know that if destroying a ship is going to yield a smaller percentage of the cargo on board or not. We know now that if you destroy a ship with cargo, that it does yield a smaller percentage if the boxes stay on the server, and that it's really the last resort to destroy the ship, because you could try and extort the player, or you could try and ransom the ship back to the player and get more out of them for it, which we've done on many occasions. You know, a lot of players who keep complaining about their ships getting destroyed, chances are they weren't even paying attention to chat. They had chat turned off. Pirates were trying to contact them. They weren't responding. They're just getting attacked. And because they don't understand how the game works and how easy it is actually to destroy ships, because it's not hard, they just sit there and go, oh, these guys took so long to fucking destroy me. It's because I'm a fucking, I'm a fucking Jedi at playing Star Citizen. And it's like, no, they're actually not trying to destroy you. They just got to the point where they couldn't get any further, so they just decided to. Or, they just wanted to kill your ship. And they were equipped to do it. That's it. You can't force, gameplay by making something more difficult to do can't encourage players to do something else by making, you know, something more difficult to do. The better method is to encourage them to want to do the other thing by incentivizing it. Yeah.
I'm seeing some conversation in the chat about shooting the player out in the pilot seat to disable the self-destruct. What happens is when you get in the pilot seat of a chair, let's say specifically on the Hercules, the chair is deeper into the room, and when you get in it, it pushes you towards the dashboard. Now, let's say you shoot somebody out of that position, and visually the chair looks like it's at the end of the animation up against the dashboard, but what really happens is that the interaction point of the chair is back where it should be if it was unoccupied, when visually the chair is up at the dashboard as if someone were in it. And that applies to all ships. That applies to cutlasses, freelancers, Hercules, caterpillars, fucking everything. So, you know, when that happens, it's basically a ghost input. So when you want to, when you shoot somebody out, you basically go back to where the chair should be as if it's unoccupied. You'll see the input, you click on it, and then you get in the seat.
I'm pretty sure there's an example on our channel of us doing that.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It's somewhere around there. Like, yeah. We do a lot of shipboardings.
I do like, you know, like the suggestion though, a flash bomb for ship sensors, which is effectively noise, which, as Hannah pointed out, is broken at the moment. But I've actually seen a cargo hauler do that, where they tricked us. It was quite clever. They hadn't reached the quantum travel ceiling yet, and what they'd done was they dropped chaff at the time, which blocked all our sensors, and we were like, did this guy just alt F4? And our QED hesitated on moving into position because they're like, oh, well, they're just gone. And the next thing we see, the bloody chevron for another few seconds, and then they jump.
Yeah, and because I'm pretty sure they were like, the team was also like several kilometers away, so you couldn't visually see the ship yet.
We're all still closing, and we thought, oh, this guy's just disappeared. And it's like, no, they used chaff to, you know, mask their signature. But there's other things that, you know, you could look at doing to try and be more active in combating piracy. And Iron and Escort is one of them, but, you know, like, bring your own QED ship. Bring your own QED. Find their QED ship, destroy it, let your cargo hauler bloody jump, and then turn your own QED on. You know, you're slowing down the pursuit by doing that. But at that point, like, most of the time, cargo haulers are able to cut, jump, then just change and dogleg it. Their destination.
A lot of the ways you can combat piracy is using the exact same equipment that the pirates use. NPC pirates are more common than player pirates. Cat W.
Even then, like, the NPC pirates are essentially brain dead AI. So that's what the majority of players want. They want brain dead pirates. There's only one way to combat piracy. Pull the trigger till they explode or you do. I'm pretty sure aiming's involved first. Like, you need to make sure you're aiming, because if you're not looking at the pirate and you're just firing off into the bloody black, it's like, you're not really doing anything.
Nah, dude, I got gimbals. I don't need to aim. I have a pip. I don't need to aim.
Good old Jag. Piracy is rare. Why not put some money aside and pay to be set free? But
Shout out to Jack
but
Hiroshi, long-time viewer.
Good old beard rub. I see this as a quitter loser attitude. I like keeping extra cash in my wallet for muggers. It's like keeping extra cash in my wallet for muggers. As in life, I prefer to train and equip myself to not be a victim rather than support criminals by making crime easier and more profitable to conduct. Everyone's a hero until they face a real threat.
I'll never pay a pirate. I will never. I will not ever pay a dime to these fucking pirates ever.
No reason to kowtow to a low-tier role player.
Oh, God.
Dobbs. They're talking about us, Dobbs. They're talking about us. We're low-tier role players. Even though others say that we're, hyper role players.
Don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to fucking comment on this shit anymore. God, I'm just fucking...
We're just going through the comments here. If pirates got paid, they wouldn't be so rare. Pirates got paid, murder hobos might be rarer. No, they won't. Oh, here's a good one. No. Wait, this is a reply. Where's the parent? It's pretty high up. Fuck that. I'm not going up there. No, the pirate needs to work for it. This extortion will stop once org play is implemented. The pirates will cry when it becomes deadly for them. What is org play? What is org play? I'm curious. Why is org play the bullet that will kill extortion or stop extortion?
You know what? Time for Google definition.
Because we don't have org play, pirates run rampant.
By play which is ordered, overseen by rules, and managed or directed by another person like an educator, group leader, or therapy professional. Organized play is a great way for therapists to get new child patients to open up about themselves. Thank you, Google, for that interesting definition.
Pretty sure it doesn't apply here. I'm pretty sure what they're talking about is that
argument invalid.
Once, you know, their org is able to get together and play, pirates will cry because it becomes deadlier. It's like, party up. You can already do that. Like, this is a thing now. You can party up with other players. You don't need to be in an org for this to work, to stop pirates. You know, the irony of this is that we've been giving the solution to stopping us for years, and fucking these players continuously ignore it and continuously tell us that we're wrong.
I knew somebody was gonna fucking make an orgy joke in the chat. Fucking gonna be one of you. I fucking knew it.
Oh, we got Hannah making a comment. Cilia. She's replying to Cilia. Let's see what Cilia has to say first. If I were a pirate, I would definitely stay in a low traffic area. The only disadvantage is having to wait a bit longer for prey. Alternatively, if you set up a trap in an area with low security but high player traffic, you may get more prey, but you also encounter other pirates. If you disable a freighter and board it, that means half your crew is now off the ship. If another pirate shows up to take your loot from you, then you need to fight them off while undermanned, or worse, the target ship gets blown up in the crossfire with your crewmates on board. Not to mention, you're already low on ammo and may be damaged from fighting the freighter, and the second pirate is fresh and ready to fight. At the moment, we have to pirate in high traffic areas, since otherwise we will find nothing. Even with 100 players, the trade lanes are sparse. Hopefully this changes with 4.0.
4.0? What's that?
Pyro. We're on the road to Pyro.
Oh yeah, let's not forget, guys. We're on the road to Pyro this year. Jared said it himself.
Like, this scenario here is potentially something that could happen. In fact, we've experienced, almost something similar. Where we've had to fight, another pirate crew for a prize.
On more than one occasion, actually.
But this is just risk. Like, this is just risk mitigation. You make sure that you're operating a crew that's large enough that you can handle that situation. And then you make sure that you're practiced enough that you can handle that situation. Just mitigate the risk. Space is big. It's not.
Yeah, never mind the millions and millions of kilometer space between points of interest. It's not that big, guys. What are you talking about?
Like, I'm pretty sure their point is that there are, I guess, places where players will congregate. And that's what makes it smaller. Eventually that'll be done away with. But, until then, you can still work around having to deal with pirates. It's not hard. MKTA. Active way to combat piracy. Pay what they want. Negotiate. Flay safer routes. I think they mean fly. No other way of combating it. Shadowcat. He's reinitiating with the meme. Honestly, I see a lot of these people who do this sort of stuff and then see the upvotes, and I just think that they're karma farming now.
Oh my god, memes. Oh my god, memes. Anti-piracy memes. Speaking of anti-piracy memes, video is not public on the channel if you want to reminisce.
Yeah. Also, most pirates don't demand money, they just kill you. Okay. Vast majority of players... Alright, let's read this. Welcome to the majority of online PvP. Vast majority of people aren't role players. People who want to PvP just want to blow something up. Often, the less it can fight back, the better. So asking for a ransom and then honoring is counterproductive to the reason they chose that playstyle to begin with. So they will ask you for cash and then they will blow you up anyways. And that's why you'll tend to need a disproportionately larger amount of escorts and possible pirates, as pirates will also have the vast majority of meta for shooting players experience, on top of already knowing which players are worth ganking because they're alt/buddy, so you take off from the only location with a valuable trade good that trades at the destination they had their interdictor sitting at. Here's the thing about this point here. Asking for a ransom and honoring is not counterproductive to the reason that they chose the playstyle. Because people keep equating piracy and PvP as the same thing. Right now, the only targets that we can pirate are players. Eventually, we'll be able to do it to NPCs as well. Though we'll probably still be doing it to players because players are going to have more valuables on board. NPCs will be easier and will become essentially more of a, the type of encounter where it's repetitive. Whereas against a player, it could vary. We don't know if they've got friends. They may have friends that show up. More than likely not, but it's always a possibility. Whereas with the AI, it's going to become formulaic, repetitive, and we'll understand what's going on. But if a player is actually playing as a pirate, and that doesn't make them a role player when they go to ransom someone. Right now, ransoming ships is more practical for making credits than it is to destroy the ship and pick up the boxes. It also allows you to practice boarding ships as well.
That's where the real value is.
But ransoming and then honoring is not counterproductive because the player that you've just ransomed has just, fulfilled their end of the bargain. So if you get the reputation, and this is why not honoring ransom demands is counterproductive, because you build a reputation of being a liar. And you don't want that sort of rep. You want people to understand that if you say that you're going to do something, then you will actually do it. So if I turn around and tell someone, if you pay me 100,000 credits, I'll give you your ship back. If you don't, I'll destroy your ship. They understand that you're not lying when you say that. One of those two things is going to happen, and what happens is based on their decision. We have an entire channel built on this. So to turn around and say that they will ask you for cash and then they will blow you up anyways. The groups that end up doing that are not only pissing off the people that they do it to, but they're pissing off the other groups that do piracy as well, because they're bringing extra heat. Because what they're doing is they're making it harder for everybody else, and they may sit there and go, oh, like we're just being PvPers, and it's like, I don't give a flying fuck. You're impacting my gameplay by being a dickhead. So if you want my help now in the future and you're getting smashed by this bloody 1,000-person fucking lawful org, doesn't matter how good you are at PvP, if there's only fucking 30 of you and there's 1,000 of them, they're just going to keep fucking dumpstering on you. You may kill 10 of them in one battle and you'll sit there and feel good about it for about 5 seconds until 30 of them are just sitting there waiting for you to come out of a fucking hangar and then just wail on you. Because that's what's going to happen once we get server meshing. This whole ganking mentality where PvP is, all the fucking Care Bears are sitting there, crying about the ganking PvPers. The lawful orgs are going to do it too. The lawful orgs are going to do it too, and there's a lot more of them than there is of fucking criminals. It is counterproductive for criminal players to go around fucking blowing, making extortion demands and then blowing up the target after saying that you'll let them go and then not honoring the deal, because you'll just attract more attention to yourself. It's as simple as that. And the other pirate crews that are getting around will see that type of thing and they'll be like, you're making our job harder for us now, and we don't like that. So when that lawful org shows up and starts kicking the 9 shades of shit out of you, we're just going to keep flying on by. We're not going to stop. We're not going to help. Fucking, you made your own bed, now sleep in it. Now, this is something completely different, though, when we're talking about what our plan for 318 is, where we're just going to, not negotiate. Because we're making our intentions clear. It's like, we're not making promises. We're not sitting there going, oh yeah, if you pay us X amount of credits, we'll leave you alone. And then, boarding their ship, taking all their shit anyway. We're just boarding their ship to take their stuff. We don't care what they have to say. If they want to try and negotiate, that's fine, but we'll probably just ignore it and just keep going.
Yeah, it's like, you can't keep your word if you didn't say anything in the first place, right, Agens?
Yeah. Captain Dirty, hello.
Hey, what's up, Dirty?
Yeah, like, it's important to keep your word. Maintain that rep, build up that rep that like what you say you will do. Because when people understand that, if you turn around and sit there and go, if you do pay those credits, you're good to go, they will listen.
Yes.
We've actually had that happen, work in our favor before. Once we've announced that we're Mongrel Squad, people are like, oh shit, yeah, it's you guys. It's all right, I understand. The bot is back. Yes, they are.
Shout out to Chat69XYZ.
That's a new one?
Anyone looking for hot singles in their area?
Right there. Chat69's got you sorted.
We'll probably shoot first and ask questions later when cargo refactor happens. Yeah. Hey, you and us both.
Really, yeah, I haven't turned on the bot slider. Not afraid of bots. Right. I think we've talked about this subject enough. Like, we're over the 2-hour mark anyway. Let's...
Fucking liar.
Yeah, I can always hope. Can always hope.
You got caught lacking, Agens. Got caught lacking.
It's alright. I still don't understand how the other content creators do their reacts in like 10 to 15 minutes. I don't get it.
Well, Agens, it's like whenever you speak on a topic, you essentially write a fucking thesis.
Well, I address the points as I see them.
Yes, you are very thorough. Right, guys? We like it. We like it, don't we, guys?
Just moving the windows around. Alright. Like, we've actually had cargo haulers approach us as well and say, like, if I tell you about, potential competition in an area, will you leave me alone? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, we will. We will leave you alone if you give us good targets, but you need to make sure that they're good targets and not just, some shit. Like somebody trying to run fluorine while another person's running laranite. It's like, if you're not giving us the person running laranite, you're just trying to get the fluorine guy hit, we're just going to look at you like you're an idiot. We're not going to waste our time on that. But a lot of players just, I don't think they're ready yet for Star Citizen when we get server meshing. Like, it's becoming clearer and clearer as we get closer to server meshing. Like, a lot of players just are not ready. And, you know, they're going to learn the hard way.
You guys are fucking wild. Privateering agents. I'd like to comment on corporate privateering.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people already in this chat know about my plans, but Mongrel Squad's going to be engaging in corporate privateering because the way I see it, that's the best way of being able to sustain doing piracy in the game in the future. Like, you can sit there and try and rely on just, you know, hitting the ad hoc targets. But if you want to try and set yourself up where you've got a steady stream of income, going after the competition on behalf of another organization helps us out a lot more because it allows us to focus. We can focus our efforts. We can negotiate in the contract that we're getting paid regardless if we're hitting targets or not, as long as we're able to, you know, produce results. And we also like give ourselves a bit more of a engaging purpose in the game as well. Because then it starts feeling like you're a part of something a bit bigger, a bit, you know, there's more parts to the gameplay, the community that's happening, as opposed to, you know, like just going out there and hoping that you find something, hoping that you'll have an experience. Adrian Clark asks, Agens, what do you think of the idea of a bounty syndicate where if there's a way to implement player tracking without an exploit and people hire you as a bounty hunter? There's already stuff like that within the community. Like, I know there's a couple of Discord bots getting around where players are able to put bounties on other players. If you happen to come across them, you can try and claim the bounty. The thing is, and this is always going to be the case, like it doesn't really matter what COG puts into the game. The best way for a bounty hunter to get access to a target is going to be infiltrating somebody into that person's organization, if it's a player. Getting that infiltrator close to the target, and then the bounty hunter uses that infiltrator to get close to the target as well. Like that's just going to be the way that it's going to be done most of the time. Which is why, like, you know, making sure that you got your filters in place early on is going to be really important, especially for criminals. We're going to get to a point where we just can't let anybody in. You know, they'll have to go through checks and balances and, you know, have to be vetted. And even then, because, you know, you can own more than one account, there's not really a surefire way to stop this from happening. So then you would find that those players who have the largest bounties on their heads are normally playing in a way where they're always surrounded by people. So if you're going to go after them, you have to go through an army. So you're probably going to have to bring your own. At that point, are you really going to make that much off the bounty? Some people may just do it for the prestige, but, you know. Others will look at the credit value and they'll be like, nah, not worth it. Yeah, like player-driven gameplay, I've always been a big proponent for it. And, like, there's nothing stopping players from trying to engage in that player-driven gameplay now. Like, we do it with Piracy. You would have seen on Salty Mike's stream us purchasing weapons on him. I know some of our guys will sell weapons to other players. There is limited player-driven trade with rare items in the game as well. So, like, some players are engaging in it. the problem that everybody's experiencing or finding when they try to is that it requires more effort than what they get out of it. Eventually, though, it will be in the spot that we want, and we'll be able to enjoy it as it is. We just got to wait. Classic Rogue. What would the prospects be for hijacking and refurbishing stolen ships? Refurbishing, not sure about. COG Chris Roberts has said that stealing a ship and repurposing it for yourself is going to be something that's really difficult to do and probably almost as expensive as buying a ship in of itself.
Yeah, because it's not like you steal a ship, especially like player-owned ships. It's kind of a weird thing that you have to navigate if you actually want to do something like that, where if you steal a ship, it somehow becomes yours and then it's in your hangar. Like, it's...
Honestly, like, you're better off just focusing on stealing the ship and then just stripping it.
Yeah. You can make...
That said, though, there's going to be some ships that will persist through sessions, so stealing them means that you can hold on to it for longer.
Yeah, maybe. We'll just kind of have to see how that works.
Anyway, I'm thinking that we end the stream there. So
yeah, it was nice. It was nice for you guys to come in and get together for the stream. Thanks for being here.
One more post? No. It's already 3:20 in the morning for me. And like, I just want to point this on now. There was 19 things that got put up for votes. Like, we had to put 2 up. And I've heard complaints about the quality of the posts that were voted for. And the thing is that these are majority votes. So there's enough people that have been interested in the content that we're reacting to that warrants looking into it. And it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like it or thinks it's, lesser than what, or lesser content or not as good. The thing about these reaction videos is that the people voting want to see the reactions to the content. They don't really care about the content per se. They care more about the reactions. But, like, I have heard that some people want to be able to vote on these things. Right now, the voting's kept internal. If this particular video series gets enough traction, the live streams get enough traction, then I'll work towards making the polls live. I'll probably still take the suggestions internally from Mongrel Squad, but I'll look at putting the polls live. That's not a promise. That's not going to be happening for next week or anything like that, but if we get enough traction on Mongrel Squad Reactions, then I will look at putting the polls live. But as I said before, that's it for the stream, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It seems like we're still doing it, the stream every Wednesday morning at 1 a.m. Jack, you literally are at the end of it. Hello. You are late, Jack. You missed it all. We reacted to 2 hours of your stream. Just watched it all.
Yeah. And we watched a compilation of your insane ship landings.
Yes.
And yes, that was a suggestion.
Your latest landings are a lot lackluster. in comparison. But yeah, it seems that I'll still be streaming every Wednesday at 1 a.m. for me, whatever time that is. It's like, for you guys, it's like, what, 2 hours and 20 minutes, negative 2 hours, 20 minutes from now. It's 3:20 in the morning. I'm tired. I've had enough. I am going to call it a night. I'll catch you guys probably around the same time next week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all then.
Bye.